the Dauntless. When I sent you men out, I expected you to be wrangling pirates into attacking more acceptable targets, not conquering planets. Admiral Cistern half snarls into the video chat as he stands at ease and regards the man, now Duke, on the other side. Well, sir, things were just that bad here. The planet was completely ruled by criminal organizations, and to be an officer of the law was a death sentence. Despair, death, hopelessness, slavery of both the labor-based and sexual kind, the list goes on. Miles answers, I'm not doubting that things were necessary. However, a little warning would have been nice. Perhaps even doing your duty by requesting authorization, he remarks sternly. We were concerned about the hack. Furthermore, our first interaction with this world had us knocking it massively off its delicate balance. War was moments away from breaking out, and there would have been a straight-up disgusting death toll no matter what. With what we did, we made sure it was the criminals and those that contributed to the chaos that fell to it instead. Miles justifies, and Admiral Cistern shakes his head. Do you have any idea how hard this will be to spin as a good thing? Sir, what makes you think we'll even be considered liable? This band of pirates, part of the EFL or not, are the visible face of this matter. Yes, you have relations to them, but only to work as emergency militia and an allied fleet in times of war. Beyond that, they're allowed to do their own thing, a few valuable degrees of separation. Not to mention the fact that you're only getting this warning now gives you another layer of plausible deniability to add to the pile. Miles explains, and after a moment gets a smile from the Admiral. So you gentlemen have been studying the supplemental materials. Good. The Admiral remarks, and Miles nods in return. Good. Your officer training has been rushed and slapdashed at best, but I will ensure that each and every volunteer to the EFL program will receive their proper training. I see. Anyways, sir, you're going to be seeing me fairly soon. We've made our takeover nice and legal by contacting the representative of the world. Violence followed by paperwork to make it righteous. Things stay much the same no matter where we go. Philip remarks, walking in and handing a cup of coffee to the Admiral. Thank you, Philip, Admiral Cistern remarks. Still scaring the daylights out of people with proper manners and prompt service? Miles asks the older man. Of course, young sir. Might I congratulate you on your recent promotion to Duke, and you only had to take horrific advantage of an alien's hormonal surges to do it. Well done, the proper old man states. Thank you for making me feel like a scumbag. Miles answers. You're most welcome, sir, Philip replies. Your new habit of begging forgiveness rather than asking permission is worrying, however. You are under the loose leash protocols. You're expected to make far-reaching decisions like this, Admiral Cistern remarks. Still, the reports you and your men have sent are concerning, he says, holding up a datapad with the reports on it. There shouldn't be much concerning in there, sir. We cleaned up this world fairly thoroughly, Miles remarks. You need to expand your gaze somewhat, soldier. In but a month and change of days, you found an entire planet screaming and dying under the grip of corruption, greed, and rampant criminality, worlds run by criminal gangs filled with slavery, monsters and sadistic witches that displayed their snuff porn for the world to see. Admiral Cistern lists out. Entire worlds. Imagine if all of Earth was trapped in such circumstances. Now imagine if less than 500 people completely shifted all of it. You gentlemen have shifted things on a planetary scale, and the only reason it's not hitting you until now is that your mind is considering things on a galactic scale. I'm positive your little bit of planetary scale larceny will be overlooked. Centris is a cesspit of corruption and stupidity. However, every bit of attention we draw to ourselves is a bad thing. The galaxy is damn near drowning in lust at the very concept of humanity, and every move we make adds to the appeal. Makes trying to establish a proper reputation a problem, doesn't it? Miles asks, and Admiral Cistern nods. Yes, the twin balance of needing obscurity to work and needing to build a reputation to stand on, meaning we need distractions. How much can you hush up the conquest of Vucha? Indefinitely, it's impossible. However, there's a lot of rebuilding to do before any information can come out. We're way out in the wilds. It takes days just to get here from the nearest galactic lane, and we have several back roads to take advantage of. We've got at least a couple of years before the penny really falls, provided that this line of communication hasn't been hacked and is being currently broadcasted publicly. Miles responds. It's secure. Still. A fishing and mining world far off the beaten path. That could be of great use. Do you think that there's room for a colony? There is, but the world is massively in flux. We don't even fully have a system of law in place yet. On the world-to-world scale, communications are down, defenses are down. I'm speaking to you on the EFL Tiger because there's nowhere else on all of VUSA that has the equipment to reach Centris. I see. And what is the ultimate plan? Beyond rebuilding? Admiral Cistern asks. There isn't one, sir. Our intention was to follow our orders of support and aid the pirates while ensuring they target more acceptable prizes and continue to regard humanity well. Everything we've done is an extension of that. Apparently, some of the girls were considering retirement, especially with babies on the way. Miles answers, and the Admiral takes a sip of his drink as he contemplates what next to say. Have there been some form of complication? Sir Philip asks, and Miles shakes his head. Thankfully not. As bizarre as it is, the cross-fertility is not only a thing but not an issue. The basic scans show that despite the very early stages, the women and children are healthy. It's rather concerning that the pregnancy is affecting them despite how early it is. Most of that is the placebo effect. Others are bits of psychology where the girls are using it as an excuse to stop. A lot of the older girls on the ship, despite rejuvenations, are tired of this life. They want more stability, and ruling a planet has that. I mostly think they want a nursery that's not at risk of being shot at in its day-to-day activity. Miles remarks with a shrug. As retirement plans go, one big final hurrah where they make enough of a profit to never need to work again is almost reasonable. So it's a big retirement scheme. That pans out with what I've uncovered myself. Regardless, you have elevated yourself to the level of royalty alongside a pirate captain, now effectively a pirate queen. When this gets back to Earth, it's going to give all the wrong elements the worst possible ideas, Admiral Cistern warns. Sir, this was going to happen one way or the other. The galaxy is too poorly policed, too widespread, and too widely inhabited to be controlled, and once people start leaving cruel space in earnest, it's going to be an explosive age of exploration, conquest, and building. There's no stopping it. On a map, the galaxy looks understandable, but when you consider that even a millimeter across that map is more space than any one human nation has ever so much as dreamed of owning, then things really start to hit you. Miles explains, and Admiral Cistern gives him a glare for a moment. Then he smiles. And that was the right answer. I apologize for the third degree. I just need to make sure you gentlemen are actually ready for these command positions you volunteered for. Send in one of the men who haven't spoken with me yet. I'll trust your discretion, and I ask for your discretion. I need to be sure all of you are fully aware of the situation and capable of making intelligent and rational decisions. Admiral Cistern explains, and Miles offers a salute. Send in the next man, Commander. Yes, sir, Miles says before turning around and marching out. A very intriguing set of circumstances, sir. The mission reports are nothing short of astonishing, and they've made excellent use of the media to establish themselves as local heroes, as much as planetary scale counts as local, Sir Philip remarks. I'm afraid it is. Despite how enormous the galactic scale of things is, we can't lose track of the smaller events, and it's a sign that we're beginning to think in such a large scale when the conquest of a planet rates a smaller event. Heroes or not, they're exposed. It won't take much for people to put two and two together and figure out that when the off-Tret race shows up and shortly after a planet is conquered by a band of pirates with male Tret soldiers. Admiral Cistern remarks. Not to mention the ideas that some men will attempt to disappear and forge their own little dominions when they get tired of being part of the military. It's good that it's not what these boys are intentionally doing, but that's what they're going to inspire. The average man can control a small and elite army through their wives, get those women controlling a powerful enough warship, and isolated planets can fall to a single man's ambition. Unlikely, sir, but well within the realm of possibility. The thing about most despots is that they tend to be more short-term thinkers than long-term. They promote and butter up their most ardent supporters, rather than those that can do a proper job, leading to swift decline of the systems needed to keep them in their creature comforts. Of course, they then take from the people they unjustly reign over, which brings upon a cycle of self-destruction. This continues until the entirety of the inner circle, and much of the outer circle of these Cretans are dealt with, Sir Philip remarks, and Admiral Cistern nods. The galaxy is at once a great beast waiting to swallow us whole, and a ripe fruit just waiting to be plucked. This is going to be bringing out the best and worst in my men, and it's a right pain that we have to maintain it as the best. Admiral Cistern remarks. Thankfully, many men are outright inspired by the bounty hunters more than the EFL, to be completely frank. Enormous amounts of money and journeying to exotic locale after exotic locale are quite appealing to the human psyche, Sir Philip remarks. Not to mention the welcoming locals, Admiral Cistern says with a slight smirk. When they aren't drowning in corruption and attempting enslavement and murder. Sir Philip volleys back. Sir? Marcus Titus asks, snapping a salute. Ah, Commander Titus, perhaps you should explain to me why you should be permitted to keep that rank and title? It was given to you in haste, yes, but if you lose control of those under your command to the level where they conquer an entire planet, then there's an issue. Perhaps you could clear things up. Sir, this whole place was a mess. I won't deny that this looks terrible from the outside, but the chain of events that led us here is formed of neither malice nor incompetence. Then enlighten me. I find the reports lacking, Admiral Cistern says, and Marcus seems to gulp nervously. Sir, it started as a simple smuggling operation gone wrong. Captain Lilpaw suspected treachery, so the team, myself included, were brought in as a show of wealth with concealed weapons. The suspected treachery occurred, and we took out the head of a major crime family, followed by emptying their personal vaults. While this happened, our main retaliation hit the organization, and by the time we were finished, the only members left had surrendered to us, which would have destabilized the territory of the gang and led to a great deal of disruption, Admiral Cistern notes with a cross tone. Yes, sir. So we put our heads together and came up with a long list of the issues plaguing the area until we realized that the entire world was interconnected and widened our gaze even as the women from the EFL Tiger came to the conclusion they wanted to settle down and have a home base of sorts. We realized that there would be an outright war if we didn't get in a powerful decapitation strike to not only the rival organizations, but numerous other destabilizing factors such as extremely hostile native fauna, numerous local serial killers, and a large number of marauding bands, leading to a night of slaughter and brutality, Admiral Cistern says coolly. Yes, and now we're beginning the reconstruction and resurrection of the planet. Oh? Yes, we're working on improving infrastructure from communications to self-sufficiency to defense. We've also managed to secure a great deal of legitimacy. Our watchwords were to make this a world worth ruling over. The goal was nothing but stability and being self-sufficient. I see. And what methods are you using? Admiral Cistern asks as he continues his test of the hastily promoted officer, something he has to do for each of the hundreds of men that have volunteered to be part of the EFL command staff. The Tiger is merely the first ship of 5, as well as 2 space stations. Thankfully, the ones yet assigned were getting the training they need before and not after the assignments. The Bounty Hunters. Have to admit, those girls do know how to have fun, Bike remarks as he and the rest of the guys watch over the gang of bikers swarm onto the hijacked van and force it to the ground. Most of the gang are circling above like vultures. The thieves are torn out of the vehicle and tied up as one of the girls pulls out a slip of paper and informs the people of the situation. It's still brutal and massively over-aggressive for a police action, but it's better than a person getting outright shot, as would be expected in this situation. The girls then pass the next part of their unspoken test with flying colors. They straight up escort the hijacked van all the way to its actual destination, unaware of the watching bounty hunters. Of course, then they immediately patronize the bar they just returned the stolen booze to. Looks like things are sticking fairly well. I'd say that we're done here. Ah, well, it was nice to have a sort of ground base for a while. The ship's fine and all, but there's something about natural gravity, you know? The Hat notes casually as he continues to work the massively hard chrome scales from the Carnex into his next chapeau. That's in your head, big man. I haven't sensed a thing, Mustard remarks. No, that's what's in your head. The Hat lobbies back, and there are numerous snorts of amusement at the return of the old argument. Anyways, gentlemen, we're done here. Our new toys are on the ship. Our loot is just waiting for a spitshine and a buyer, meaning we're in the market for a new job, Pukey remarks as he pulls out a small projector linked up to his communicator. Okay, within about a month's travel, we've got way too much to do, narrowing it down. He notes when a massive list of different bounties in bullet form shoot by too fast to be read or even really be anything other than an incomprehensible blur. God damn this galaxy! We need more law enforcements out here, Airfarce notes as he glances back from the controls of the mobile observation platform. Yeah, let's narrow the search parameters. Any suggestions, boys? Tropical worlds? Cold ones? How about a full-on space station? We've seen big ships and more than a few different worlds, but no straight-up space station yet. J3 remarks as he casually watches a shifty-looking piece of work slink her way up to one of the gang, vigilante, cops' air bike before the girl barrels out of the bar and chases the figure off. He clucks his tongue. Fuck all left for us to do. Any more interference will just cause more trouble than it solves. All right, hang on, just a... Pukey remarks, and the list has been narrowed down to a few hundred large bounties with thousands upon thousands of small ones. What's the search parameter? Tang asks. A day's travel from a space station that's within a week's travel of this place. Pukey responds before fiddling with the data a bit. A quarter of the list is highlighted at seemingly random. If we want to spend time with more humans, then these ones would be a good idea. The station known as Octarine Spin, run by a... How do you pronounce this? A Menenmi? Menenmi? That feels kind of weird to say. What is it? Octopus woman. Or rather, a completely bald woman with 8 tentacles coming out the back of her head. They come in a variety of flavors such as grape, strawberry, blueberry, and kiwi, apparently. Each tentacle is fully articulate and capable of gripping, manipulating with even more dexterity, but less force than their arms. These people can accurately shoot 10 guns at once and are well-known multitaskers. Let's see, BCC 1/100-3, or bipedal cephalopod carnivore. Apparently, certain chemicals can cause them to change colors if ingested, and they get spotty in the in-between states. Pukey remarks, bringing up the image of the head-tentacled woman glancing coyly back at the camera. What do we know about the one owning Octarine Spin? Airfarce asks casually. Lessie, her name is Menisi. Signed up for the EFL on the recommendation of the boss of Ashen Duck's Willow Spoke. Apparently, there's a little club of people that are evolved from 8-limbed creatures. Willow's a spider, in particular a giant trapdoor spider woman, and Menisi's an octopus. Pukey reads out. Why? Why what? Why a club about evolving from creatures with such an arbitrary commonality? It's like opening a club where only primates can join. All of freaking humanity is part of that. A club's supposed to be exclusive, right? Tang asks. Ask not how the mind of the alien works, for alien it truly is, Pukey remarks as he scans through the top bounties. From the looks of things, Octarine Spin is neutral ground. No hunting there. Of course, anyone trying any funny stuff is going out the airlock without a pressure suit, but that's how it rolls on a pirate station. Really? What about our own guys on that place? Station complement of 25 men. Most of these boys were in logistical and maintenance roles, but we've got a couple borderline commandos. Hang on, I'm going to... There we go, the reports from the station itself. The thirst is everywhere. Tang reads out in an amused tone. I gotcha beat, Mr. T says before coughing into his fist. It's Night of the Living Harlots. He reads out and there are amused snorts all around. Well, it would be an estrogen ocean considering that most men in criminal organizations tend to be either the plotters, hackers, or the dance through the lasers thief. Tang remarks. Oh, dude, no, I did not need to imagine us doing that. The hat groans out loud. While oiled up and clean-shaven so that not even a single hair gets... Mustard continues in a mocking tone before dodging a swing from the larger man. Missed. Okay, settle down. We doing a planet or a station for the next little bundle of jobs? Pukey asks, and the boys glance at each other. Planet, says the hat, J3 and Tang. Station, says Mustard, Itchy, Dong, Mr. T, Airfarce, and Bike. Station has it. We're hitting up Octarine Spin. Bike, you need to do some research on how their security and registration systems work. The station may be neutral ground, but there's nothing against pouncing on the bastards after they leave or following them home. Ya main hair. The man replies as he pulls out his communicator and begins going into the actual model and serial number of the station as his starting point for research. Itchy, J3 Tang. We need emergency weapons, non-lethal ones that won't get us in shit to be caught with. Sounds like it's flashbang time. I'll check our stores of the toys and see about making more, Itchy says with a thumbs up. Beanbag and rubber rounds may not have the kick we're used to, but people get really polite and cooperative when they start flying, Tang remarks, and J3 nods. Something up? He's developed a pretty strong rapport with his fellow sniper. Paint rounds. I'll see if we can't get something we can track into the mix, or if we can get something that leaves a big mess. It'd be a great way to screw with cameras and the targeting of things we want to take down intact, he remarks as he starts considering things. You thinking you want to appropriate some power armor? Pukey asks, and J3 nods again. Yeah, a lot of the on-the-market and black market weapons are made to integrate with power armor or with small-scale vehicles. Actually, having a power walker to use the local ordnance for more than 1 or 2 shots would be very useful. The sniper answers. I still got that air bike the girls helped me slap together. It's got no less than 4 slots for mounting heavy weapons on it and an entire slave system so the controls are always in reach. 1 button for the left side, another for the right. Dirt easy. Air Farce remarks. Yes, well, not all of us can land a jet on top of a doghouse for kicks. Getting some mech suits to at least back-engineer their power cells so we can use the heavy lasers and plasma without running out every 4 or 5 shots is a good idea. The Hat considers. Anything else on the shopping list, gents? We've got the universal silencers from Frankie Boy as well as his shield rings. We've also been building a bigger and bigger armory and garage of all the toys we've been confiscating when the police weren't looking. Pukey asks, and there's some consideration. We've got a fair number of vehicles and weapons, especially with the Chainbreaker as a mobile base, but I think what we need most are friends. We've made good impressions generally wherever we went, but we seriously need to get some more contacts. We can only get so much information from on-the-ground study and hiring experts. Our detective skills are decent, but we need to put together a system on figuring out who to bribe, how much to bribe them by, and when to do it so we can hunt things down all the quicker, Dong says after a bit, and everyone gives him a surprised look. What? My dad's a lawyer. He deals with cops and PIs all the time. I learned a lot just from the times they bitched about the worst parts of the job. Fair enough. We've got more than acceptable tracking abilities, but we cut it close a few times. The Sonic Slayers was as much a lucky find as anything else. Dong, your mission is to get what we need so that an ambush like we pulled against those psychos is not a matter of luck but inevitability, Pukey orders. K, that's going to mean I'll be slumming hard and fast all over the grungier parts of town so I can see how much it stacks up against or matches the underlife of Earth. Figure out what an alien snitch looks like, Dong muses. Shouldn't be too hard, but I'll want someone nearby just in case the shit hits the fan. Got anything quicker? J3 asks blithely. Torture? Dong offers. How about something less objectionable? Mr. T asks. Oh, sorry, I meant kinetic information retrieval, Dong answers with a big smile on his face. We're not beating information out of people, you fucking cretin, Pukey says around a chuckle. Then I'm afraid it's boots to the ground legwork and talky-talky stuff, which can take a while, Dong remarks. That's that then. We're out of Vucha and heading to the Octaron Spin space station. It's apparently in the Barjop system. The hell language is that? Pukey's announcement derails as the name of the place in question baffles him, and he takes a look. Oh, all right. Stone place in an old dialect of the Charbys. Huh. We haven't really bumped into the bee people yet. Pukey, there is a stupid number of species. Of course we haven't met them all yet, the Hat says as Airfarce starts slowly moving the platform again. Anyways, our observations are done. The girls are willing to play ball, and that's all we needed to figure out. That we had time to discuss our next move is just a boon. We report into the... Are they really pirates anymore? Anyways, we report into the pirate wranglers, say our goodbyes, and double-check that we've got everything before buggering off. The platform starts to move far and fast, as basic barriers stop the high winds from blasting the men off as they start tying things down and latching them into place as well. Well, boys, this is our last day on Vucha. Say your goodbyes and get ready. We've got more fun ahead.